Um, I hope that everybody has had a good weekend and is ready for our next lesson on our energy ports in our body. Because I'm gonna split this one into two lessons because it's pretty lengthy. And because we didn't have time to have any questions last time, that way we can have some questions so that if anybody has any questions, we can, make sure that we cover the questions from the last chakras that we went over. Because I'm sure some of y'all do have some questions. What we're getting into is very interesting about your body, and it's up to each one of us to, to do your own research on it. Because there's a lot of stuff out there, but one of the biggest things that I wanted to bring up to y'all is, I've been doing talks on the chakras for many years, probably about 20-something years, way before I moved here. Like, I did a lot in New Mexico on chakra tune-ups and to help people that were in recovery for drugs and alcohol. So when I started writing this stuff down, because I had never wrote it down, but I decided this time I was going to write it down and put it in my little book of lessons and stuff. So if I ever have to do it again, I won't have to write it down anymore because I already have it from it. Save me some time. But I saw that some of the information has been changed on Google. So the way I've learned it is not what is being said on the internet right now. So I think they're trying to change the information for the younger generation, which will cause them to have some issues. So I just want y'all to be careful when you're out there searching. If you really want to find the true information that's not changed, you need to use DuckDuckGo instead of Google, because they keep everything pretty legit on that internet site as an internet engine. So good morning to everybody, and we'll go into prayer, and I hope everybody is feeling great. I have a little cough, so I hope I'm not catching a cold. So bear with me if I start coughing. But we'll go into our prayer and then we'll get into class. Heavenly Father, thank you for this very beautiful day today. I ask that each and every one of us that are in this class today, that our heart chakras connect to one another and bring in the information that is best for each person here that is receiving it, and that it be used for their highest good. Father, I ask that you bless each and every one of us with health and wellness, and protect us from any type of energy that could harm us at this time that's coming from the universal patterns. Watch over us and keep us safe, and help us to spread love and unconditional love and smiles to everybody to lift them up as we go along in our pathway today. I hope.
Song?
Yes, please.
Coming up strong, coming up fast. The spirit is here at last, revealing a world healing, waking on up to the light. Our freedom flight, are you ready to ride? Come along, come alive. Jump on board, we're heading high, building up steam, shining brighter, taking track, burning on back, with pure desire, through the night, with peace inside, are you ready to ride? Come along, come alive. Come along, ride this train. Come alive, hearts, make this change. Come along, it's your choice. Come alive and raise your voice. Come along, come alive. Come along, come alive. Come along, come alive. Come along, come alive. Ready to ride, ready to ride. With love inside, love inside. Ready to ride. Come along, come alive. We've shared our pain, shed our tears, broken through the darkest years. Now let's keep rolling, beyond controlling, shaking out fear, unified. We're ready to ride, with joy inside. Come along, come alive. Come along, ride this train. Come alive, hearts, make this change. Come along, it's your choice. Come alive
All yours, Shawan.
All right. I thought that was a pretty song there. But let's come alive today because we're going to be talking about a very important chakra, which is our third chakra, the solar plex. And this is actually the chakra that does a lot of work for our body to keep it in tune and keep it working properly. So this chakra is located just a little bit below your navel, your belly button, and your life force energy comes through this chakra full force. When your kundalini kicks in, you're going to feel it because it's connected to the element of fire. And as we're learning about the other chakras, each one has an element connected to it, right? And the root chakra was earth. And then the sacral chakra, the second one, was connected to the element of water. Well, this one is connected to the element of fire, which is actually also connected to the sun. Okay, so, you know, when we get out and walk around outside in the sun, we're connecting to this energy that's coming through us directly from the sun on the universal level. So we're going to learn a little bit about this chakra. And Rodney, if you'll put the picture of just the plain chakra up there that doesn't have anything on it, so that people can see what this chakra looks like. Because we're going to go, you know, I'm going to break it down on what the petals and everything represent in your body. And so if you'll notice, you know, there's 10 petals that go around this chakra, and there's a circle and a triangle. Okay, and so you can just leave that up to Rodney if you want to for a little bit. This chakra, your solar plex, governs the aspect of your personality, your self-esteem, and your ego. Okay, and from the age of 14 on up to like 18 is when it is really being developed. It's when you start becoming a teenager and your emotional self has kicked in. And you know how our parents used to say, oh, when you get 12 years old, that's the hard age. And it really is, because you're transitioning into a new aspect of yourself, and your personality and your self-esteem and everything is being groomed and brought forth, you know, into the presentness of your awareness with your emotions and stuff. As you'll notice, it, like I said, it has 10 petals, and then it has a downward pointing triangle. Inside this triangle, there's a little seed, okay, which we'll show in another picture. But what resides inside the triangle is actually the sound of vibration for this chakra, which is Ram. But it's spelled R-A-N. So the 10 petals, each one represents a thought, okay, that surfaces in your mind and represents your negative traits or characteristics that each one of us must overcome to open the chakra up so that it can work properly. So I'm gonna start showing you what the meanings of those are. So Rodney, if you want to put the other picture up now, where I went into full detail Okay, now this is the full detail of the chakra. And as you notice, each one of them has a different symbol in the petals of it. And this is representing these thought patterns that go through our mind. So we're going to start where I've got it numbered 1 at the very top of the petal there. The thought that surfaces in your mind and represents this petal right here is spiritual ignorance. So if you're not or have not opened into spiritual knowledge yet, then you would really want to work on this aspect of yourself to open up that petal better. Okay, number 2, and it's going to go in a clockwise motion, represents fear. So if you have any type of fear coming into your body, this petal right here needs a lot of attention. And if you're pretty much aware, each and every single one of us has some type of fear or doubt in our mind almost every day, and so you can realize that this is this chakra that the energy is focusing on when you're having those thoughts is sending that vibration to this chakra. Number 3 is jealousy and envy. And everybody, there's a lot of people that have jealousy and envy about you, and you can have it about your own self with other people. So it's very important to understand these things. Number 4, if I'm going too fast, let me know, because I know y'all are writing these down. Number 4 is treachery and betrayal. So how many of us, even when we were children, got betrayed and our trust got broken? This is a very important one because, yes, I believe that each and every one of us at some point in our life, our trust has been broken by somebody. And so this petal gets a little damaged. And so as I was talking, the past 2 classes, your root chakra is the foundation that you stand on, to become strong within your body. So this, when betrayal happens to you, radiates all the way down to your root chakra, which is your survival, and it sends a lot of vibration to that root chakra, which counteracts the other chakra into bringing and rising up all these other emotions in you. So you're going to learn, I'm hoping that by writing all this down, you'll learn how to become aware that when you have this fear or the mistrust in people, that you'll recognize that you need to go and work on this chakra, with vibrational music or meditation, and focus on it so that you can clear your thought process better. And you will, if you do that, you'll start learning how to really bring yourself back into balance, and stuff won't hit you as hard, and you'll be able to handle it a lot better. The 5th one is shame. That's a pretty tough one because, I know for a fact, I've done some very shameful things in my past as a child that I held against myself for a long, long time until I learned to forgive myself. And so did my parents, did some things, your brothers and sisters, bullying you in front of your friends, any type of shame that you got. If you haven't released it, you need to examine it. And like I was telling you last week, we're in the time of the bear right now. So we have all winter long to reflect on this stuff and really work on these parts of ourselves as we're waiting for springtime to get here. So we're really at a good point right now to be even studying this to understand it better. Okay, the number 6 is thirst. Now thirst means a lot of things. Okay, it's not just about being thirsty and wanting something to drink. Okay, this also means, your wants or your needs that you just say, I have to have this thing, so I'm gonna go spend my money and I'm gonna get it. Uh, that's this pedal, but they call it thirst, but it's actually whatever your body is saying that you need at the time. Like if you want to go get some ice cream or something like that, that is the vibration that's going into that side of that pedal that causes that. Number 7, which is at the very lower bottom part of the screen there, is disgust and hatred. And if you think about these words that I'm putting out there, remember how we talked about these words kind of make like vines, like ivy vines or poison ivy or whatever you want to call it. And it connects to many different feelings and emotions. So hatred, the disgust can also lead you to anger and all of that on that vine, that we talked about, that we need to go down the line and see what all is on those mental aspects of ourselves so that you can fix it. Well, when you get to the disgust and the hatred part, or any of these other ones, and you have not realized that you have to address it, that's when all that stuff starts adding on to it, because it creates more and more and more until eventually it's all clogged up with all these emotions. Number 8 is disillusion or denial. How many of us have ever been in self-denial where you just did not believe that is not the truth, um, that's a really hard one to get through, especially if a doctor tells you you're sick and you're going, I'm not sick, I'm not going to be like that. So you really got to learn to accept the things that you cannot change, because there are some things that, especially at our age, the way our bodies are aging and stuff, there are some things that we will not be able to change. We will just have to accept them for what they are. And one of my biggest things is, after I had my heart attack, is how slow I have become. Used to I was a go-getter. I could get up and go. Now I feel like a slow turtle. And it's took me a little while since my heart attack to accept that and be okay with that as being a part of me now. And that part might not change. I might never go back to where I can be real fast at doing things, but it doesn't mean that I won't be able to do them. I'm just going to be doing them at a slower pace. And so you'll learn how to, get out of that self-denial and accept the things that you can't change and be okay with them. The next one, number 9, is foolishness. And foolishness can include a lot of stuff. So I'm not even going to go into what foolishness represents, because for each one of us, foolishness can represent a lot of stuff that you're thinking about that you're going to have to work through, because it could be coming from this other pedal of delusion, okay, that make you respond foolishly because you're in self-denial about stuff. Because that's how it works. It's all connected. Okay. The number 10 pedal brings sadness. Okay. And we've all been sad before, but also, if you're not clearing up your sadness and changing it into something else, it brings on depression, and it can go all the way down to suicide. That's That's part of the showing that this chakra is blocked and needs attention. So, that's quite a lot of information, right? Now, if you see the red part there of the triangle, and this triangle is facing downward, so the energy not only goes upwards, it goes downwards to your root chakra and down to Mother Earth, but it also connects to your heart chakra and moves up. Because this is your fire element. This is your life force energy coming through this chakra. And it's going to connect all the other chakras so that they work properly. But the center of the triangle is red, which represents the fire energy that's coming in. And this actually represents your essence and your passion and your strength that you have in your life. Okay, so if you're lacking passion or you're feeling really tired, then you need to really work on this chakra to bring your passion and your strength back to you, because this is where you lose your energy to do anything. You know, and you become well, I did it when I had my when I had my heart attack. I lost my joy, I lost everything. Um, and it puts you into a place of complete loneliness, with inside yourself. Because if you're not bringing in Creator's light into you and feeling worthy enough to receive it, then you've cut your solar plex energy off. So it's very important to understand that. But right there is the seed, and it comes through the vibration of RAM. Ram, Ram. That's the vibration that brings it into that triangle part of your solar plex, and it vibrates out into the circle and then into the petals of this solar plex. So when you're working on this with sound vibration, you need to realize that that's how it's working from the inward, from the triangle out, and clearing all of that out. And it's going to help destroy your false identification that you have with yourself, with your ego, of who you are. And it's going to help you overcome your fear and your anger of everything, so that you can balance up. But the only way to transcend this is through meditation, eating the proper foods, and exercise. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and get on a bike and everything, but like yoga, all the yoga poses, and these are just poses that you do. You stand and you bend, are really going to help each one of these chakras that we talk about. And at some point in time, maybe next week, I'll try to find a picture of all the chakra poses so that y'all can know what they are, so that you can start. And with your own, when y'all want to look at your own stuff and do research, you can pull it up and see which yoga poses goes with which chakra, so that you can start working on whatever chakra you feel within your body really needs more work, to strengthen. But this one right here is going to clear your fear, like I was saying, and your anger. And it's going to remove, once you get it all blocked, all the destructive patterns that causes you to feel worthless, useless, laziness, all of that. It's going to remove all of that when you start working on it. It's going to help reduce your anxiety, but your anxiety actually comes from your root chakra but it will vibrate very strongly in your solar plex, depending on how long you have let it go without addressing it, because it will eventually turn into some type of illness within your body because you have not addressed uh, the signs. But see, if you don't know what you're looking for or aware of it, how can you even start addressing it? Okay. The solar plex is also good for people that have eating disorders. So Sherry, I wanted to let you know this because, we have been talking about, the root chakra for both your kids doing stuff with the root chakra, but for your daughter, working on the solar plex with her too would help her with her anorexia that she's going through. And so if you have time to start doing that, you're going to see a big difference in things with her. And I hope you do, because I think it would do good for all of us here that are in the class to see the change that's going to come about, because there's going to be a big change, a big healing come about in your children's life when you start putting all of this into place. Now, like I was telling you, the sun is the sun is the ruling planet over the solar plex. Okay, and so what does the sun do? The sun shines all the time, right? The sun's yellow. The sun has the fire energy in it. So when you get out in the sun for like 15 minutes, what is it doing for you? You've heard this, it creates vitamin D in your body. Okay, so that's the connection, to bring the vitamins into your body. Of course, it does other things too, but also when you're looking at that, if you go to the root chakra, okay, to really connect this energy really good through your root chakra, go barefooted on Mother Earth at the same time that you're outside in the sun, and guess what? You're connecting all of that together. If that makes any sense, because it's coming from the universal structure. And for the root chakra, walking barefoot on the earth is connecting you straight to Mother Earth. And then if you're out there getting the sun for 15 minutes, it's going through all your chakras in a healthy way, the proper way it should be going. So I really hope I'm saying this in a way that y'all can understand it, so that you can really start looking at these chakras, when you have your own time to study it, because there's so much to think about and look at. Like there's 5 things that work with this chakra that are always going on in your mind for this chakra to work. And I'm just going to spit it out, because I thought this was very interesting when I come across it. Is the very first thing that goes through your mind on a daily basis is correct knowledge, receiving the correct knowledge that you need. Another thing that goes through your mind every day too is incorrect knowledge, because you could be watching a movie show or out in public seeing something happen that is bringing in incorrect knowledge into your mind. Your imagination, or a fantasy imagination where you're fantasizing about things. Sleeping. That was 3. That was number 3. Sleeping is number 4. And number 5 is your memory on what all do you remember about what you brought into your mind, or what is your mind saying to you.
So, and what was number 4?
Number 4 was sleep.
So 3 is
And we all
sleeping.
sleep, you know, we all sleep. Number 3 is imagination or having fantasies. Did y'all get all of those? Because I can repeat them. The first one was correct knowledge. The second one was incorrect knowledge. Then the third one was imagination or fantasy thoughts. The fourth one was sleep. And the fifth one was memory. So, as we're learning, each chakra has certain parts of the body that it works, you know, that it covers and functions, helps function these organs. And so your solar plex governs your glands, like your pancreas, your gallbladder, your spleen, your liver. And it regulates and distributes your metabolic energy all through your body. And the reason why the solar plex does that is because the solar plex is the key chakra that brings in transformation for you. So if it's not working properly, you really can't transform into the things that you want to become until you clear your this chakra and get it working right. It'll always bring you back to it to fix it. And next week, we're going to talk about the imbalances of this chakra so that you'll be able to tell when this chakra is imbalanced. But one of the biggest things that will show that this chakra is imbalanced is if you use manipulation to manipulate other people to make you feel more powerful. So I don't know how many people y'all know in your life that does that to you, but that's why that takes place is coming from the solar plex. And when it is balanced, it brings in courage and strength and confidence and builds up your self-esteem so that you don't worry about really what anybody thinks anymore. And at our age, you know, we get to the point now at our age that we don't really care what people think anymore. But we could reach that goal a lot quicker if we'd have been taught about our solar plex at a younger age, if you understand what I'm saying. And the color of the solar plex is yellow. And remember that every color has a vibrational energy that goes along with it. And so this vibration that goes along with this color yellow is the vibration of fire, because it's coming from the central sun, you know, and it's connected to the fire element. So one of the things when I was showing y'all a few minutes ago about getting out in the sun, you know, for 10 minutes and then taking your shoes off, at the same time I'm walking on Mother Earth to connect those chakras together. There's a lot of things that you can bring your chakras into balance at the same point like that. Walking out in the sun together with your feet on the ground barefooted, drinking a glass of water while you're walking around, you know, that's going to connect your second chakra. And all of this is bringing in a vibrational energy pattern into your body, that when you become aware of that, you will start doing that, and it will eventually just become a knowledge to you that you'll do it without even thinking about it. Because if you start connecting like that, it will become a routine within you, just like you do when you start praying and doing your prayers every morning. But I'm gonna stop there on the solar plex. Um, but next week we're going to talk about, how to notice if your solar plex is balanced or unbalanced, because it's a lot of information and it's gonna take us a long time to go through it. But back to the connection about, I was telling you about the connection of going out in the sun for 10 minutes and walking barefoot and all of that. I'm gonna bring in the element air. Okay. And this plays a big part in this, in your solar plex, because your life force energy runs off of prana, which is your air that you breathe in. And so this exists in everything. So we're going to go into this because I made like a little thing that I thought everybody would be interested in learning about your prana, the air that you breathe, and what it does. Because it exists in everything, even things we don't think are alive. So I want y'all to really think about that. Even this prana energy, this energy exists in things that we don't even think are alive. So what do you think that would be? That could be a wooden chair, because it's made out of wood. And wood is alive, but if you're sitting there thinking about your bookshelves made out of wood, you don't see it as a live thing, but it actually has that prana energy in it. And so what I'd like y'all to do this week is to look around to see if you can write down stuff that is alive, that people do not recognize as really alive with this energy. And like I told you, I gave you an example: a wooden table or a wooden chair, has this energy in it. And without this life force energy, which actually comes from Mother Nature and the ground, we couldn't live or exist. None of it could live or exist without this. And it actually, this prana, the air, actually what originated from 5 elements. And guess what 5 elements it originated from? We've talked about these elements many times: the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space that's in between all that. That is called the ether. Without these elements, without all of these elements, we could not have the breath life force energy called prana, because that's what makes it all. It's all of these elements mixed together. And all these elements come into our bodies, and there's a point in each part of our bodies that the elements are there for a reason, to provide us with this type of energy. And as you learn where these elements connect with the chakras, it's going to be very interesting for y'all, because these 5 elements only go from the root chakra to the throat chakra. Okay. So what is the third eye and what is the crown chakra? You ever thought about that? If you didn't know this, you would have never thought, what is the third eye and what is the crown chakra? Well, the third eye is actually how the light of God comes, or the central sun, the sunshine comes through your third eye, so it brings the light of God into you. Okay, but your crown chakra is how the pure spirit of God comes in. So I thought that was quite interesting to see that in your body, to know that all of that is in your body and is in each of the chakras. So if if your life force energy is running through your body, all of these elements are in your body and need to be looked at and balanced, you know. But I can't balance those for you. You have to do it yourself, and that takes, studying or having a class like this where we're talking about it so that you'll even become aware of it. So I thought this was very important to bring out because we need to learn where they're at in our bodies. Where is the earth? How do we get the earth into our bodies? Because it's connected to the root chakra, right? Well, one of the things we were talking about is walking barefoot on the earth. But we also bring the earth in by eating all the vegetables that come from the earth. Quite interesting when you really start, breaking it down and seeing where it's coming from. Any type of produce that we use, even paper that we write on, comes from the wood. And the wood was a tree at one time that was in Mother Earth. So it has all this life force energy in it, even though we don't see it as alive. It really has life in it. And when you start learning that, that's how you can see how everything connects. And like the water, how do we get the water in our bodies? Well, we drink water, right? That's one of the ways to connect those chakras and stuff in our bodies is to drink water, but also taking a bath in it, also swimming in it, washing your hands and feet, very important. And, back in the day, they don't say this anymore when you look it up, but back in the day when you looked it up, it would say you were 98% water. Your body was 98% water, but the way they say it now is that your body is 60% water, and then your blood is 90% water. So I want y'all to really think about that, because it does break down. Your blood is water, even though it's red. And you could go in deeper thought. Why is it red? Well, it's coming from the solar plex fire, the fire. What we're talking about is coming from this life force energy. So it's quite interesting to see how it all connects. And I really, hope that y'all will take the time to think about all of this and research it for yourself to see how your bodies work, because when Creator created us, boy, did He create us. We're better than a computer. And if we learned how to really take care of ourselves and understand how each part works, it'd be like how we detail our car. Some of us really detail our car and want it to look shine and look really good. Well, wouldn't it be nice to be able to detail your body and understand why everything is happening in your body? Well, the only way you can do that is to start learning about these things. The fire element, how does the fire element come into your body? Well, we're talking about the solar plex. That's this energy that coming in. But we can also put the fire element in our body through spices, which is made out of food and stuff, any type of hot drink, exercise. This is where the exercise comes in because it creates body heat, which brings up your body heat in your body. I put an alarm on, y'all, so that I would know that it would be time to start taking questions, which actually works out pretty good because we're almost done. So I timed that pretty good. And even the rooster is alive. So energy creates the heat, and then of course the sun absorbs the heat and gives off heat. So that's the fire element, and then air. Okay, we're gonna go to the air. The very biggest thing we do is we breathe, right? And one of the biggest things that you realize that this is your life force energy is you don't have to tell yourself to breathe. You do it unconsciously. It just comes in, and it comes into everything like that. You know, the tree's not over there going, "Hey, I need some oxygen over here. Send some oxygen my way." But if we didn't have a tree, we wouldn't be able to breathe because the tree is what creates the oxygen for us. And when we exhale our oxygen, that's what the tree breathes in is the carbon monoxide. So it's all connected. And it's quite interesting when you can, like I said, when you can start connecting all the pieces and see how it works. It's very interesting. So our air that we breathe, that's spontaneous. We don't do it. We don't say, "Hey, brain, breathe." We just automatically do it. That's to show you that this life force energy, which, I started this back when I first started the classes. Energy always moves. It's always moving. It never stops. And so our breath and the air is always in movement. Life is always in movement. And realize that when you're breathing in air, that's newness. That's freshness. You're not breathing in stale air. So every time you breathe in, you're breathing in life, newness, and it's just like rising up and seeing the sunshine, in the morning time. And remember, I told y'all, leave everything that happened the day before, in the past, because it's in the past, that's gone, because you're in a new day. It's the same way with your breath. You're breathing in newness every time you take a breath. So it's just so interesting. Okay, and then we're going to go to space, which is the last element. Okay, what is space? And I want y'all to really think about it. What is space? Because I had to think about it. What is space? Well, this space, everything around me is space. But really, truly, what does space mean to you? And so for me, this is what I came to for my own conclusion about space. And it's really a key to balancing everything up. And it's quite interesting is when we get into the space element is when we're asleep, then we go off daydreaming. Okay, and it's when we're all alone and we have no one to talk to except for ourselves. That's when the space actually comes in so that you can be balanced. So remember when we first started the class, I was telling y'all how important it was to have some sacred time for yourself. This is the space is your sacred time. And so if you don't put that sacred time, then you're going to be unbalanced somewhere within your center, because all of this connects. And I really want y'all to think about it. And that's how I'm going to lead the class, because that's a good place to stop the class, to get y'all to think about all these things, because really when Creator made us, He made us so beautifully. I mean, it's really hard to describe how we're made and how everything connects. And the only way that you'll be able to see it for yourself is for you to sit back and study it yourself and write it down on a piece of paper and look at it and say, where am I at in this? What part am I playing in this? And you'll start seeing all this beautiful stuff that's around you that you didn't think had any life force energy in it. And everything has energy. everything. And that's how I'm going to leave the class. But what I want to do now is I want to take questions because we didn't really have time to take any lesson, talk about the root chakra or the second chakra because it was so lengthy of information that I was given. And I'm sure each and every single one of y'all might have, a question that we can answer, and if I don't have the answer, maybe somebody else does here on this little classroom that we have, because see, we all have the answers inside us, but for us to get the answers, we have to start really reflecting and researching it and seeing how we feel about these things. And like I said, we're in the perfect time right now because we're in the time of the bear to do all this introspection. So it's a great day. It's a great day to know that all of us are okay and we're all in sync with the universe in the bear cave, thinking about all of this stuff and learning about it. I think it's, that's an awesome sign in itself that you're walking a good path and that you're getting on your pathway to discover about yourself. And trust me, when you start learning about this stuff, you're going to truly start learning to love yourself because each one of us are unique and we are special and we bring special gifts to each other. And and we're connected. Not one of us is disconnected from the other. So does anybody have any questions? If you do, unmic yourself and speak up. Oh, Pam, I couldn't see you, but you said Pam has her hand up.
I was thinking about how we started the root and we moving up through the chakras and the energy. We pull the energy from the earth. Is that correct? The energy comes up from the earth, up and through our chakras and out like the tree. We pull from the ground, with our roots up through the tree until we get to the spirit at the top. That's my understanding.
Okay. Now, see, this is great because I didn't learn it like that.
Okay.
Okay. But it doesn't mean you're wrong. Okay, because each one of us are unique and each one of us has to tweak it within ourselves. So the way I was taught is because the second, well, all three of the chakras, the energy points down from the solar plexus to the root. That's why the triangles are pointing down. But at the same time, when those three chakras align with one another, it starts bringing the life force energy up like a snake, rising up. But your life force energy is not coming from the ground. It's coming from your root chakra up.
Okay.
And this is how I was taught, but you need to research it, because I could have been taught wrong.
I'm just, I
was always showed that when you're doing your meditation and it's coming out your legs, that's the part that comes over your body into your auric field and goes up. It still goes up to spirit, but it comes up around your auric field and goes up. The Kundalini rises in you and goes straight up. That's how I was taught.
Okay. The reason I said that is because I had worked with the Micmac elder, and we did some meditations where we literally stepped onto a crystal, and part of clearing the chakras was to pull the energy up through all the, through the top to help clear them. That was, it was just a meditation. It was done.
Okay, and so when he did it, he pulled it up through Mother Earth too, up through the chakras. Well,
Yeah.
I could see where that could be done like that. I might even try that myself,
Mm-hmm.
to see.
I guess because we looked at it like, the earth is our mother and provides for us and brings, it's like spirit. And it gives us our food and the things that we need to live on. We are connected to her because all of the elements are within us that is within her, the earth, so that was it is a lot of the basis was a connection of the earth and the sky together, the sun and the earth together as being spirit.
It was talking about the prana life force energy that we've been talking about today.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's in everything.
Yeah.
So there's really not a wrong or right way to connect to spirit, because you are spirit, if that makes any sense. Okay. But each one of us can connect to spirit in a different way and still be connected to spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And but certain people have their ways. There are certain native people that have told me, no, you got to do it just like this. You got to do it just like this. Well, there is a balance to everything in the way it connects. That's why you need to find out for yourself and just don't follow everybody or follow everything that they say. That includes what I am saying, because you got to find out what is true for yourself and what is right for you and feels, what sparks your life force so that it works properly within yourself. Because the way I do it might not work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I like the idea that the roots are connected to the earth, the Mother Earth, our roots.
Because we're the tree.
Yeah, because we're the tree, and that it connects us to everything, which makes us one with everything. Correct. When I first stepped into the native path, I felt this awareness of light, little pinpoints of light all over the place. I did some artwork where I did a picture of animals and plants and a field, and I put little points of light, little points of yellow light everywhere, because that's what I sensed when I first came into the native path, that life was everywhere, and that and that we could touch it just by being here, that it was within us and we were all connected. That's the oneness concept. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, thank you, because that was great. What you said, because if you're not connected to Mother Earth, let's just say you haven't took your shoes off and connected with her, then you are missing that energy force that comes through her, because she does have an energy force too that comes through her. Okay. And like I was saying, each one of us is going to connect to it and feel it in our bodies for our own aspect of ourselves and our own knowing of how it feels when it's, coming into our bodies. So that only you will know if you're really connecting properly or not. People might look at you and point a finger and say, you're not connected. They really can't judge you like that, because that's a judgment, because they don't know what you're doing. They don't know if you're even doing meditation. They're just making a judgment on you, and
can you explain Kundalini a little bit too? Because I don't know much about that.
The Kundalini is the energy that's rising up in from the root chakra all the way up. That is the life force energy, but say, in those chakras, they are, they lay dominant until they're activated. What are you, good morning, what class you looking for? Sorry, y'all, give me a minute.
Where the guy for diabetes.
Oh, can you go show her, Leo, where he's at? I think he's back there in, towards the exercise room. He's in one of those rooms. Yes, it's supposed to be in this room. Well, they have him in this room right now, but we're in this room. So I hope that helped a little bit. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted when the lady came in looking for the other room. But that is your life force energy. And you know, the life force energy is in everything. And each one of us, because we have our own way of thinking about things, is going to receive and feel it in a different way. But it doesn't mean that you're not doing it in the proper way. So don't have somebody tell you that you're not connected, because they don't know. They won't know until they cross over. You know, you don't know those things. So Colleen has a question. I hope that answered your question, Pam. Okay, so Colleen has a question. Okay, turn your volume back on.
You can talk through your mic, Shawan.
Yeah, I turned my mic on.
Don't turn your mic on, Leo. There's feedback.
Yeah, turn your mic on, and I'm gonna turn my mic off. If I can find myself up here. There we go. So
Okay, there she goes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Let me turn my mic off. Let me get to my, I can't see myself. Okay.
You should be okay to unmute yourself now, Leo. All right. I think if you speak loud enough, we can hear
Let
you.
me try mine. Does that work?
Yeah, just use your mic, Shawan.
Okay. Because I got the big mic is turned off. We're just gonna use my microphone on my computer. So what's your question?
I'm kind of silly now. I was just
Can you hear
curious,
her?
What? Stones, what stones?
Oh, well, we were gonna do that next week.
Oh, okay.
Um, Colleen was asking what stones go with the solar plex chakra, but we're not going to go into the stones or anything until next week. Because like I said, this is a big chakra and there's a lot to talk about. Because there's food that you should eat with this chakra, just like the other chakras. But I really wanted to focus on, you know, the life force energy that comes through this chakra, because This is what keeps us all alive. This is our life force, you know. This is the inside of the tree. And this is actually like when you're becoming unblocked in your blockages, this is when you will learn to stand up like the tree. Because this, your solar plex, your fire, will give you the passion, the courage, and the strength to stand up like the tree instead of drowned in the waters of life. And did y'all hear that all okay? Because I had turned off my microphone, and so now I got my big mic on, so I hope y'all heard that all
Yeah, it was clear.
right. Okay.
So we hear a lot of frustration. What is frustration?
And it's not on the solar plex. It's frustration comes in on, did I say frustration, y'all? I need to look. Yeah, I'll get back into my paperwork, y'all.
No, I don't see frustration listed.
No,
in
because,
anything.
because if I'm not mistaken, frustration comes in on your root chakra. But I did bring all that paperwork too, so, so just, y'all just give me a second, I will look. Nope, I was wrong. It comes in the sacral, the second chakra, the sacral is where frustration comes in. So, the reason why, Leo brought that up is because when Colleen wanted to talk and we started having, all those problems with the microphone and everything, we all started getting very frustrated. So see, the energy was going down to the second chakra and causing frustration. And it's really good to start realizing those things. So see, that was something that Leo wanted to know. Now this, what Rodney just put up, y'all can pull this up on Google, and it's called Chakra Awakening. But it's it's how to hold your hands while you're meditating, for each chakra pose, you know, to pertain to each chakra. So the first one is where you close your hand off like this for the root chakra, and then like this, if y'all can see me. Can y'all see me okay? For the sacral chakra. And then on the third one, it's the way you put your thumbs, okay, that makes the connection. Your hands are straight out, but your thumbs cross, okay, to make the connection for the solar plex. Okay, and then the heart chakra goes back to the same one as the root chakra. But the throat chakra is pretty neat because you clap your hands in like, you know, like you do, you clap all your fingers in, and then you make remember when we played, this is the steeple, here's the church and all of the people. Well, when you do this, when you bring your thumbs, it's very important. They crisscross and your thumbs touch like this for your heart chakra. Susan, thank you. We'll see you next week. And then for your throat chakra, it's the same way, but you're pointing your fingers up. And then the crown chakra is completely closed with your thumbs together. But it's important to know this because I believe you're going to get to the point where you're going to want to do the chakra, the yoga poses for the exercises for the chakras. And then when you meditate, you'll also know how to hold your hands. And those hand things, it's very important to hold your hands like that because what it is doing, it is connecting the life force energy that is coming into your body at that time. When you do those hand poses, is directing that life force energy to and directly to that chakra. That's why there's a hand pose for it. If that makes any sense. Does anybody else have any other questions? If you do, just unmute yourself and ask away, or if you just have something you want to share.
I can share a little something here.
Please do, Miss Elizabeth.
Miss Elizabeth.
I just love you.
Thank you. I love you too. If I can talk. Way back when we were talking about the root chakra.
Yes.
And we played that song. It was so cool for me. It was the sword and the shield.
Yes.
I have a little story to go with that. I'm so sorry.
I would love to hear that little story. So let's please share.
Well, when I was in middle school, I was in an English class that we had to write an essay about something. And I don't remember what the gist of the essay was, but I was really going through a hard time back then as my parents were getting separated and fighting and blah, blah, blah. And I was staying with my mom, and then I was staying sort of with my dad, and then I come back to my mom's, and it was just kind of a big nightmare at that time. But just to show you where I was, but I could not come up with an essay for this English class, and it was going to be a big part of our grade. And so I just said, well, just screw it. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to kill myself over it. So this one night, I think it was the night before the essay was due, and I was living with my mom at the time in her apartment, which I hated that apartment. And I hated apartments. We lived on acreage before that. So being in this little apartment was like, ugh, downtown, it was icky. Anyway, I woke up in the middle of the night, like at 2:00 in the morning, and I had this raging idea for my essay. So I get up and I walk into the bathroom and shut the door and turn the light on so I wouldn't wake her up. And I sit there and I write out this essay all at one time. And it was called The Sword and the Shield, because I was given the insight. Spirit came to me that night. I think it was one of the first times I realized that, and said, you just gave me this whole essay. And it was so invaluable to me. And it was about the opposites of everything inside ourselves. And we fight for this and that. And then we have to shield ourselves, for everything else coming into us. And it was this magnificent story that I wrote, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is wonderful, And I was all excited about it, and I wrote it all out. And the next day I turned it in, and I got an A+ on it. He had nothing to say about it being wrong or anything. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so great,
Yeah.
And I was so excited about how I had gotten this story of the sword and the shield. And it was a real awakening for me at that time. And then,
how old were you?
oh, I was like 11, 12, somewhere in there.
So see, and that's about right because you know, from the age of 14 to 18, you're working on your solar plex chakra. So you were still in your second chakra of it, but it was pushing into that.
I was really coming into my,
Yes.
finding my own way without
Yeah.
mom and without dad, and coming
Correct.
into my own spirituality there. And
Correct.
so I was so excited. I went back in after school that day and I asked him for the paper back because I wanted to keep it and I wanted to just revel over it. You know, he said, "Oh no, I threw them all away."
What?
Yeah. I said, "What?" I wanted to keep that. I was so stunned that he threw them all away. He didn't hand them back to us.
Oh,
And I was like, I was just crushed. I was just crushed from that.
wow.
Wow. I know.
That's a lot, you know? But
Yeah.
that was when you were just learning about your male and female energy coming together. And how
Yeah.
interesting is it that there was a song that, you know,
I've been getting a lot of synchronicities lately, and that was a huge one for me that day when we were talking, when you brought that song in. It was like,
well, I brought that song in because I knew it was talking about the life force energy pattern. But I knew we were talking about the sacral chakra, you know, but that is the water element. Um, and actually for all this energy to be able to run through us, it has to have a clear conduit, you know, and water is like the electrical
right.
conduit that it runs through. So that's why I picked it. Instead of it being the song for today, I picked it for the song last week because the life force energy runs through each one of our chakras, you know, to connect it all together. So that's why I did it.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. That's an awesome story. And of course, y'all, it's 33 minutes past the time, so we got to get off of here. Sherry, if you can talk real quickly.
I learned about the chakras, but I love your lessons because you're bringing insight that I haven't heard. You're teaching it from a different way that I haven't heard. Like I haven't heard about the petals all having a meaning, and I'm sure it all has a meaning. And I didn't know about like the directions they go in, and it's not always clear when they're going up and down. So I'm really getting a lot from that. So I appreciate that. I know for me, it was the sacral chakra. I've heard this before, that we hold our old stuff in there, like whatever happened to us as a child, because that's our water element in it. So we are holding on to those emotions. So getting like letting go of those, and we also make it a boundary for away from other people, and we're like collecting emotions, collecting water, and we're making a boundary away from other people, and then we just hold and think letting go is learning how to let go of that is easier said than done, though.
Well,
And
yeah.
clearing that out.
Well, yeah, because what you're going to realize is that each one of those petals on each chakra, you know, we started off with the root chakra that only had 4, you know, 4 petals. And then the second chakra has 6. And now we're up to 10 petals on this one. Each one of those petals holds an emotion to it. So that, if you're stuck, in that emotion, let's just say it's not a good emotion, then you're gonna be unbalanced in that emotion, and those are the emotions that you gotta clear. And then you have to rebalance yourself and put the proper one in its place so that you can set your foundation strong, because that's where your foundation started, was those 4 petals in the root chakra. And those 4 petals in the root chakra actually represent north, east, south, and west. So it all connects. And so if you're standing on a foundation that's really weak, then how can you expect your chakras to be real strong until you start realizing within yourself what you need to do for yourself? Because nobody can do it. I mean, like I was telling everybody, I have done chakra, lessons 15, 20 years ago. I was doing chakra lessons for people. Okay. But doing them now and actually writing them down, you would be so surprised how this is helping just me doing this. Because I've realized, that when I had my heart attack, that was just signs that I was not paying enough attention to my energy fields in my chakras. I mean, they were pointing, the signs were all there. I just wasn't listening. So, I have nobody to blame for that except for me. And when you can get to the point where you can understand that anything that happens to you is not from somebody else, but it's because you were not paying attention, that goes back to spiritual, the very first panel on the solar plexus, where spiritual ignorance. If you're not paying attention to the signpost and what spirit is telling you, that's spiritual ignorance. And then you're also got self-denial in those petals too. So you really got to look at yourself, and you gotta, come to terms with how you are for yourself, and decide what you're going to change about yourself, because nobody else can do it but you. But we do have to get off of here, and I hope y'all like the lesson today. And next week we're going to still be working on the solar plex, because there's a lot more stuff, like what foods to eat, how to tell if you're out of balance in your solar plex, what stones go with it. There's a lot more to do. So this week, if y'all want to, before that, y'all can research and pull up stuff about the solar plex too, and learn stuff. And because I might miss something that y'all think is a good thing to talk about, and y'all can bring it up next week in class. And Rodney, would you like to say the closing prayer? And look, y'all, it was so nice to see each and every one of y'all today, and I hope y'all really truly have a blessed day.
Thank you, Shahoan. There's a wood chipper going on outside my window, so hopefully it's not too loud.
I can't hear it.
That's good. All right, I'll pray. Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors and all our relatives, we thank you so very much for the circle, for allowing us to be part of the sharing of knowledge and this wisdom that you're passing through Shahoan, our sister. We thank you for the knowledge on our solar plexus chakra. We thank you for these deep teachings that help us to be our highest version of self. We ask Most High, Most Divine, that you help us to plant these seeds deep in our heart, so we make these changes in our lives so we can indeed become our highest version of self and flourish and glow and help other people to feel your spirit through your presence in us. We ask that you watch over us during this week, protect each and every one of us in every way, guide us in a good way, and help us to walk in a way that is pleasing in your sight. We love you. We thank you. Aho.
Oh. See everybody next week. Have a blessed week.